Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the podcast. I am Zach, your host, and our co hosts of all time, McKenna and Sean,
Of all
Hello.
time.
of all time, the
We
best
will
co hosts
always
of all
be
time,
here.
We'll
forever and
always
ever,
be here.
We are
almost every
trapped
Friday.
eternally.
We
Some-
skipped out on one, but hey.
And then
we're
sometimes
still
it
here.
doesn't happen on a Friday, but you know what? Life happens, okay? Some of us have full-time jobs.
Shit happens.
Before we get into the topic for today's episode, did anybody have anything they want to talk about beforehand?
I don't think I do. Besides ranting about and my love for Black Ops 6 at the moment.
It is a new topic.
It
It
is.
is.
I love it. The story's good. The story's really good. And just overall the movement system is pretty so much fun.
I've been getting into more D&D content.
Ooh.
I kind of have an addiction at the moment, and I brought up with Zach that it might be fun for us three to do like a one-off,
Yo.
one shot.
I wouldn't mind.
And Zach said he'd be down to DM and have his own like self-insert character.
Mm-hmm.
If need
I've
be,
already-
because you said you wanted 3 people.
Well, I would like to have us all three play like throughout it. I would like us all to be involved in like characters,
Right.
like players.
You know what that means? I get to design them.
Yes.
I love
You
designing
do.
characters.
I already have an idea for my character, and I'm fucking stuck on it. God, it is an obsession at this point. Yeah, I'm a play a Warforged, which I've never done. I've only played twice. So I haven't done a lot of things.
I haven't really been like in a physical DM situation or even online. I've only been playing Baldur's Gate with multiple other people. And
Baldur's Gate's good.
Baldur's
good.
Gate
We can
is
also
good.
do that too.
We could do that.
Because we have the mod where that get rid of the party limit. So it's more than 4 people.
Nice.
Damn.
But we don't have more than 4 people. So-
I was in a campaign with a coworker and met some of his friends through that, and it was all right. I'm not like super into D&D. It's really like the role play of it. I'm like, I think LARPing is like super lame, but like I don't
Critical
knock people
fairs
for
are
doing it,
fun.
but personally I don't enjoy doing it.
Mhm.
I much more prefer the gamifying aspect. Like, let me
Right.
maximize a character to where I can do like 2,000 points of damage in a turn or some shit like that, or like
Or like you get a new action and
convince a
then you get
god into doing some dumb shit because I rolled
Yeah.
like some dumb fucking number. That's what I
Let
like
me-
to do.
Let me make a character that can one-shot 3 Tarrasques.
Yeah.
Either that or it's just a complete bit the entire time.
Hmm.
And for today, am I the asshole? So, if you've never seen Am I the Asshole or ever heard of it, I'm surprised, for one. But for two, basically the way it works is somebody posts a story online with explaining a situation, and they have to ask the question if they are the asshole, if everyone's the asshole, or if nobody's the asshole. But I'm going to add on top of this, which is probably going to be really quick, if you think the story is fake or not. I don't know if these are real or not, but some of them
Right.
can be quite ridiculous at times. So, not only am I going to ask for we're going to discuss it, see how we feel about the situation, come up with our own conclusion of if they're the asshole or not, but also whether or not we think the story is real or fake. So, the one we're going to start with is, am I the asshole for ruining both my parents' marriages for disowning me? And I do have
Oh.
the community answers here, like what the Reddit decided, and I will give that after we've done our discussion. So,
All right.
I am the byproduct of my parents' extramarital affair. Both of them had spouses at the time. My birth mother got pregnant and had to tell her husband as he was overseas when I was conceived, so there was no way I was his. A few months after I was born, they decided not to divorce. I was given to my grandparents on my mother's side to raise, with my birth father secretly paying child support without his wife's knowledge. My dad's side knows nothing about me, but my siblings on my mom's side were told that I am adopted by my grandparents. Recently, I decided I wanted to know more about my dad's family, and I sent a friend's request to one of my siblings and my dad so I could get to know him. Well, he freaked out and contacted my mom, and they asked to speak to me over Skype. They both told me that they couldn't risk staying in contact with me and told me that they were going no contact and to please respect it and move on with my life. Well, I did pretty much the opposite. I contacted my dad's wife and shared screenshots of our conversations and told her everything. She is now divorcing, and while on my mother's side, I told both my siblings, who then went on to tell extended family, including her husband's side. So now they are separated. Currently, my siblings on both sides' lives have been upturned, and after the satisfaction is worn off, I feel like I unnecessarily hurt them through my parents. Am I the asshole for ruining my parents' marriages?
Damn.
And now we discuss.
Huh.
I don't know, because again, this was basically a child hidden by everybody else.
Mm-hmm. Like, not like a secret child. In a complete, like, the most bastard child you could possibly think of. Like, in
Like,
a
this is the
marriage
definition of
affair, like,
it.
both of these
Mhm.
individuals were both already, like, married and everything.
Yeah.
And had kids before this, it seems.
I don't think he was the asshole, in my opinion. Especially, he was, I don't know, because the contact with the original parents kind of kicks it in, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, he tried to, like, get to know his other family, like, relatives and
Yeah,
everything.
kind of like an actual adopted child, like trying to, get to know their, was it biological parents, like trying to reach out.
Yeah,
You said his father's side, right? I think.
It was
yeah,
the
I think
father's
so.
side that had no idea that he existed,
Yeah, I mean, knowing that you're not existing within a family system is probably the worst feeling. It's like
especially
it
since they both said, "We're gonna go completely no contact with you. You'll never hear us from again. Move on with your life."
yeah, that's literally like kind of a kick into the face, you know?
Yes,
Yeah, I don't think they're the asshole, so that's my answer there.
I'll go with that as well, and that's what the community decided as well. This person is not the asshole. Their parents were like
I
they
Yeah.
probably would have
caused
done the
the
same
entire
thing.
situation.
I probably would have done the same thing in that situation.
Yeah.
Yeah, how about maybe you just don't fucking cheat?
Yeah.
That, and if you do decide to have a child, raise it. My god.
Yeah, like this is also. Do we think this is real, or
I feel like this is real.
It sounds like something that would happen.
it sounds solid enough? So, moving on from that one, our next one is: Am I the asshole for not saying anything about the underwear?
D- What a
Very
title.
vague.
Exactly.
It draws you in.
My 20-year-old daughter and her fiance are currently staying with us. I love my daughter, but she is very difficult and I can't stand her fiance. I gave them a deadline to move out because I can't take this anymore. They got into a massive fight the other day while my wife was out. I guess a pair of my wife's underwear got in laundry and she thought he was cheating. I think the fact she immediately jumped to cheating shows how bad the relationship is. She was waving the underwear around, and I recognized them because they had a floral print, but I just let this ridiculous fight go on. My wife came after about 30 minutes and said they were hers. My wife asked if I didn't realize they were hers, and I accidentally laughed. My daughter burst into tears and won't talk to me. Her fiance said we're fucked and left the house, but my wife thought it was funny. Am I the asshole?
It could have been just a simple mix up of clothes, especially if they were living with the parents.
Oh, that's most definitely what it was. It's the wife's
Yeah.
underwear.
I don't think he was. I mean, the
Kind
relationship,
of.
yeah, I could say kind of, because the
He
relationship was kind
did
of,
realize, like, he did immediately clock that they were hers.
that was true. He could have,
He
like,
just
lied and
he chose to stay silent about it and continue to let
yeah.
them fight.
Yeah, he could have said, "Oh yeah, they're this one's." not that one.
I feel
Going
I
Stop
along
the
with
feel
the
whole argument.
details of him
yeah.
saying like he hates the fiance and he thinks their relationship is kind of ass.
I feel like that
Yeah.
was I feel like that was kind of the asshole part of it. But I think he kind of was, especially with the, messing with his daughter's relationship just
Asshole.
because he didn't like him, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what the community said as well. He is the asshole.
Nice.
We're getting
And
so many points.
I feel like this seems super basic
We're winning.
and like it's also super short. So honestly, I feel like situations like these happen all the time
Mm-hmm.
where there's just a simple misunderstanding. So I
Yeah,
could see this being
simple.
real, but with how short it is, I could also see it being just very somebody just came up with it out of the blue and said, "Fuck it, this will be a good post."
Yeah. You never know.
I believe it's real.
It could be real.
It happens often enough.
Definitely.
Because I know a lot of people, especially like couples that still live with their parents, mostly because of rent, especially how high it is.
Oh yeah, just the wealth
Crazy.
inequality nowadays is the worst it's ever been.
Yeah.
In the next one, am I the asshole for honking at another driver who cut in front of me at a drive-through each time she tries to order? This line at a Starbucks I went to was really long. I was in line for a good maybe 20 minutes until this lady in a Mercedes tries to cut in front of me and like 8 others. I laid on the horn and tried to block her from cutting me, but she succeeded anyway and flipped me off. Okay, I'm the type of person who will not let someone get away with shit like this. So I waited until she pulls up, and as soon as she tries to order, I honk. She then looks at me with a dirty look, gives me the finger, which I already had a middle finger of my own ready for her. Each time she makes an attempt to order something, I honk and sometimes lay on the horn for 3 seconds. We stopped as soon as she drove off, we then ordered and went about our day. I couldn't simply let this go. Am I the asshole for this?
No. I'm just gonna
Immediate,
straight up because I know.
immediate no.
The asshole is the lady.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
cut off 9 people.
Which surprises me because in this thread they said everybody sucks.
What?
I completely disagree with this. There's no way in hell I am letting this bitch get their order through if you pull something like this.
Yeah.
Like I would have
Just
stepped
Would've-
out of my
got
car. I would have
out.
been
They
more
would have hopped
extreme.
off. Would have hopped
I've never
out.
had something like that happen to me,
Bam.
but I know the level of road rage. If some shit, especially if I'm in line for already nearly half a damn hour, you cut in front of me, dude, we're gonna have a fucking problem.
Yeah.
It's gonna be
Especially
a
if
fist fight.
did it say that she was known for doing this as well?
It's just a random lady just cut 9 people in line.
No, yeah, still. I'm fucking hauling her ass out of her car. Like
Yeah,
what
like
like,
this is not gonna go well for her.
yeah.
That's why I was
That
so
is-
surprised. Like everyone sucks here. I don't believe that.
I don't either. That's wild.
A lot of the comments are like everybody sucks here, but goddamn, I would have done the same. I'd say this is
This is
definitely real.
real.
Yeah.
Yeah, it has to be real.
All right. So this is a longer one. Am I the asshole for moving out when my parents asked me to pay rent? I am 23 years old, the oldest of 5 siblings, and I am a full-time student. I also have a part-time job in my field, but when I complete my degree, my employer will take me on full-time. I make enough for my part-time job to pay for school and put money aside. My siblings range from years old to 10. Both of our parents work full-time. I've taken on a lot of responsibilities for keeping everything running in the house. I do the grocery shopping, the laundry, as well as making suppers and doing meal prep so everyone has lunches ready to take every day. I also get all of my siblings to do their part with regards to household chores. For example, my youngest brother is responsible for feeding and walking the dogs, so I make sure that there is dog food in the storage and poop bags on the leash. My dad works very long hours. My mom works 9 to 5 at a hard job. Over Christmas, I had a chance to buy a PS5 for myself, so I did. The rest of my family is still using a shared PS4. My parents started fielding complaints from my oldest brother about how I made so much and I don't share the things I buy for myself. Totally true. So they had a talk with me where they brought this up. I pointed out how much of the household work I did, and they said it wasn't fair that I was earning so much money without contributing. They told me how much they would expect for me. And they don't seem to give a number about that. It's just like they told me a number for rent.
Right.
I went to my room and did the math. If I gave them what they wanted, I would have about $800 a month left over. If I dropped a couple of classes next semester, I could go to full-time hours with my employer, and it would only be one more year until I graduated with my second degree. But I could afford my own place, and I would have way more free time and disposable. I packed up and moved out. Everything I owned fit in my car. I stayed at an Airbnb for 2 weeks until I could get everything sorted with an apartment, school, and work. I'm not gonna lie, I may have gone a little overboard on Tinder. I couldn't have women over to my parents' house. I just moved into my own apartment. I'm staying part-time until I finish the semester. I'll work full-time over the summer and go to a lighter class load, higher work hours in the fall. My oldest brother has been tasked by my parents to do everything I used to do. His chores have been split up with the other three. They're all pissed at me for moving out. My parents are upset that I left them in the lurch. My siblings are mad that they all have my chores. My oldest brother is especially salty because he has no free time to see his girlfriend and she isn't allowed in the house if my parents aren't home. I'm enjoying my free time. I bought myself a plant from IKEA. I feel bad for screwing them all over, but it didn't make sense for me to do all that work and pay rent on top. Am I the asshole?
No.
Not at all. Not one bit.
No. That's just the part of fucking growing up.
Yeah,
And
that's
especially having siblings who are moving out.
it's kind of I feel like this is kind of the sign when you do end up moving out as like the oldest, coming from personal experience.
Yeah.
Once rent becomes a question, especially when you're already doing so much to assist the rest of the household, like taking on a large amount of the extra like work and chores around the house alongside working a job and school, then they also take money out of your check. It gets a
Yeah.
little ridiculous.
Yeah.
So at that point, that's typically when you just straight up want to move out. This is an extremely common thing, and that's what the community decided as well. They are not the asshole.
That's also gonna happen to me soon as well, because I'm also leaving out of the house. I'm like, what, 22? This guy's 23?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
Same
it's
as me.
it's a common occurrence. It's just growing up.
All right. Am I the asshole for ignoring a coworker who refused to use my actual name?
Ooh.
I've worked at my
Oh.
office for 8 years. I'm on good terms with management and most of my coworkers. 5 months ago, a new guy was hired on a 6-month probation period. I'm not a supervisor, but I'm definitely a senior employee. I'll call the guy Ted Faro because he's a dick. Supervisor was going around introducing to people, and when he got to me, said, "This is John," and described my job. Ted, "Hi, Jack." Me,
What?
"It's John." Ted, "What?" Me,
What?
"My name's John, not Jack." Ted, "It's close enough for me." Supervisor, "His name's
Mm.
John, not Jack. Let's move on." This continued for a few months. Despite reminders from supervisors when he referred to me when I wasn't present, and
What?
myself, he continued to use the name Jack. I finally told him, "You either use my name or I ignore you completely, no matter what the situation is." His response was, "Sure thing, Jackie boy."
No.
Mm.
Since I don't work directly with him, I figured screw it, and that I'd ignore him. Recently, he had a 2-day business trip car rental. I work late some nights, and Ted came to me and says, "Hey Jack, I'll be dropping the rental car off at 7 when I get back. See you there for a lift back to the..." They closed at 6, and there's a drop box. As promised, I ignored him. 7:15 rolls around on the night he's dropping off, and I get a call. I recognize his number, so I ignored it. He called 7 more times, then
Damn.
starts emailing. The first one was along the lines of, "Jack, I'm at Enterprise." Emails pour in every 5 to 10 minutes, addressing
Damn.
me as Jack, Jacko, Jackie, and Jackie Boy. The emails started being laced with profanity and a couple threats.
Oh.
I signed
That's
out
nice.
and went home. It was raining hard. Next morning, I saw Ted had sent a few more emails. I printed them off. At 10 a.m., he storms up to my desk and screams, "Where the fuck were you? I told you when to pick me up. I had to take a cab. Do you know how much that cost me?"
Oh my god.
He goes on like that for a bit until a supervisor came and hauled him away and asked to speak to me. Supervisor, Ted tells me that he ignored his requests for a pickup when he dropped off the rental. He was caught out in the rain. I relayed what happened and showed him the emails. I'd highlighted the threats. Supervisor, I could see why you wouldn't want to spend time around him, but it was still kind of inconsiderate to leave him stranded in the rain. That's not the greatest neighborhood, and he could have been hurt. He sighed and said, with the threats and him being on probation, he no longer works here. Just try to be an asshole in retaliation to your coworkers.
Mm,
A few people at the office have commented that I'm the jerk for ignoring Ted and getting him up, which got him fired. Am I the asshole on this?
I am gonna say no on this because I also have a friend who works, or I think they used to work at a restaurant, and they go by a preferred name. They go by they them.
Mm-hmm.
So when a coworker of theirs kept calling them by their dead name, they got very pissed and did the same thing, which is ignore them.
Right.
I'm gonna say no. I don't think that person was the asshole because this is happening currently and will happen again.
Mm-hmm.
People just don't refer to you as the name that you want to be named or your genuine name that you want to go by.
Because this went on for months.
For months. That's what's like fucking with me because
the quote was, "This continued for a few months," and then the situation happened.
Insanity.
And I'm assuming the supervisors knew about this too.
They were there the first day it happened.
Yeah.
And it happened multiple times, and they would correct him, and he just kept on going.
Yeah, I'm gonna say no, personally.
I'm going to agree. Not the asshole.
And I would have to agree as well, and that's what the community said as well, not the asshole.
Thank God.
But also, I had a very similar situation with somebody who was on a probationary period before being unioned to our place of work, and they were the fucking dickhead I had ever seen in my life, to the point
the
where
bare minimum.
The last week they were before they got unioned, I worked with my supervisor to catch him in the act of fucking around to get him fired. Rather than riling him up necessarily for him to get himself fired, she basically did already. I more so just helped my supervisor catch him in the act in order to speed up the process. Because once you're unioned, it's a pain in the ass to get rid of somebody. So I can relate to the situation, and I feel like stuff like this happens where it's just a new guy's just an absolute dick and they don't get their shit together, so some people retaliate and then they get riled and then they're kicked out.
Especially if it's a teasing kind of way, that should stop within a day or two, especially if you express your disdain for it. Not months.
Not only the coworker you're fucking with, but also your bosses.
Yeah.
So, am I the asshole for skipping Christmas with my parents since they won't treat me like an adult? I am 27 female, have been with my boyfriend 33 for almost 2 years now. We'll be getting married eventually, but it's not a priority. My mom won't let us share a bed if we come see them for any reason. When we came over this last summer, my boyfriend suggested renting a hotel so we could have privacy and a comfortable bed. It drove my mom nuts that we bypassed her little rules.
Huh?
She wouldn't drop it the entire time there. She made me promise not to do that again. My boyfriend's mom and dad are retired to Mexico, and they're really chill. So we made plans to come visit them over Christmas. They are not Christian, so they don't really care when they see their son with regards to religious holidays. We didn't tell parents we weren't coming. My mom asked me at Thanksgiving if I was going to hold my promise not to stay at a hotel over Christmas. I answered truthfully that I would not stay at a hotel. I am sitting here on the balcony of my future in-laws condo, looking at the Caribbean, waiting for sunrise, and enjoying the peace and quiet. I made the mistake of going online yesterday, and I saw a bunch of posts from my mom and my sisters about how I was a jerk for lying to them about my plans.
My God.
I've been a little tipsy last night because I decided to respond. I said that it was ridiculous of them to try and tell me I couldn't share a room with my boyfriend, that I was keeping my promise by not staying at all when we were there, and that if they planned on putting everything on Facebook, I would be avoiding all visits for the foreseeable future. They took down their posts, but some people did agree with them. Now they're texting me and calling to say I was an asshole for making them look bad. I asked them if they're trying to make me look good with their posts.
Yeah.
They stopped
Good
for a while,
response.
but there were more texts and voicemails this morning. I'm kind of liking the idea of skipping the drama from now on, but I miss my dad, and he is blameless in this. Am I the asshole?
No,
No.
not a chance.
This is a grown 27-year-old woman.
Yeah.
You're gonna give her shit for wanting to stay with her boyfriend and have privacy of all things from your mother.
Yeah.
No, this is
God.
a very adult, rational choice to make. At least the hotel and everything. Very makes sense. I don't understand. It's like I don't. It's baffling to be trying to be that controlling of somebody else's relationship, especially when she's damn near pushing 30.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say they're the asshole, but the community says everyone sucks here.
What are you
God.
talking about?
They're
What?
wrong.
She was smart. She did say she wasn't going to be at a hotel, to
Yeah.
be fair.
That's where the asshole part comes in, where she
I don't
didn't
think it
offer up
was.
that she wasn't going to be coming, but I feel like that's kind of the point.
I think that was a given. They probably should have seen the sign of her not coming.
Yeah, especially if you're gonna pull some shit like that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't deal with any of them like that. Find a
Nah,
day to
around
hang
the
with my
holidays?
dad solo.
Yeah,
Fuck all
just
that.
call your dad and text your dad. Cut contact with your siblings and your mom.
Go bowling or something. Just
Have a
stay
frolic
from
in a
that
meadow,
house.
for the love of God.
Go to a hotel with them. But holy shit. All right, this is another longer one. Am I the asshole for shouting at my ex in front of my daughters? I am 37 male, have 3 girls, 8, 10, and 12. Their mother walked out on us for another man when this was around 4. My ex still
Ooh.
stays in contact, though, and pays child support. A few weeks ago, while doing laundry, I saw a red spot on my oldest underwear. I asked if she knew about it, and she cried and told me she tried to call her mom, but my ex didn't call back. She's been stuffing toilet paper in her underwear that would work.
Oh.
I explained to her that periods are nothing to be ashamed of and found some great resources online for us to review together. I took her to the store to pick out feminine products she wanted to use, and she picked Playtex Sport because she's a gymnast. I am clueless on this information.
Oh, yeah. I'm the only one who has information about this.
So, after we were done, I decided I should do the same thing with my other 2. My 12 volunteered to be part of preparing them, and we made a whole night of it. It was wonderful, and I learned a lot. I
Aw,
even
that's actually
learned
really
what a
sweet.
menstrual cup is. Don't know what that is either.
You guys
The other day, my ex called back. I'll usually arrange a video chat and leave the room so they can have some alone time, and when they're done chatting, I'll come back in to talk boring co-parenting stuff like school, bills, etc. My ex was furious with me for talking about periods with the girls. She shouted at me that I was sick and perverted. Why didn't I call her if I knew it was so urgent? I could have called one of their grandmas, aunts, but my mom has dementia, while her mom and sisters call me a loser because I teach garden, so I'm not fond of them. My ex told me I was being immature and should have just toughed it out for the girls. This really pissed me off, so I shouted back that maybe if she wasn't such a deadbeat and answered her goddamn phone once in a while, she could have handled this. She hasn't been to a single soccer game, piano recital, or gymnastics meet in 2 years. Every other weekend, when they come home from her house, they go straight to their rooms, only to emerge hours later asking me why she loves her new husband more than them, and what did they do to make her leave. My ex responded by saying it's not their fault I couldn't satisfy her, and I screamed, "Fuck you."
Jesus.
And she just smirked and pointed behind me, saying, "Look what you did." I turned around. My 8-year-old and 10-year-old were standing in the doorway crying. It broke my heart. I never shout, so I know I scared them. My 12-year-old stormed in, screaming at her mom, and while I appreciate her sticking up for me, this is not a battle I want her fighting. My ex hung up before I could fully de-escalate the situation, and let's just say the girl's been given free reign of the ice cream and limitless hours of video games because I feel so bad. I even watched all the Twilight movies with them, so don't say I don't love them. But am I the asshole for shouting?
No.
No, that's a good dad right there.
That is an amazing dad. What the fuck?
I
Like,
agree. So this is very believable in my honestly.
Oh yeah.
I've had
yeah,
shit than this show up.
of course. And I feel like a lot more men should know about, women's periods. Again, you don't even know what a menstrual cup is. Like,
They
oh,
make
especially if you're a
definitely.
father and a single father at that. With 3 daughters,
Mhm.
you're gonna have to learn.
Very much so. So I'm glad we're all in agreement with that one. Not everybody sucks again.
Yeah, so far everybody's been like 1 for 1,
Yeah.
All right. So, am I the asshole for spending my son's university fund on a trip to Europe to drink beer like I always
Oh,
threatened instead of giving it to his stepbrother after he passed away?
oh, that
Mm,
is such a wild title. My God.
ooh.
I feel like I got whiplash just
I could
hearing
repeat it
that.
again if you didn't catch it.
Don't. No, I've heard it. I think I don't want to hear it again.
So, my son was smart, smarter than me. I almost requested a paternity test because he was so damn intelligent. That is a joke.
Yeah.
My ex and I divorced when he was about 12. She remarried when he was 14. I did when he was 16. I had an RESP set up for him. That's an education fund in Canada. As long as he went for post secondary education, he could use the money for anything. I always told him that I was okay with him not going to university. That way, the money I saved up for him to go to Belgium and buy some beer from monks that only allow you to buy one case. He knew I was joking and he always played along. He wouldn't let me get his goat. When he got accepted to McGill, it was the proudest moment of my life. I took him out for a beer to celebrate his achievement and mourn the loss of my trip to Europe. My son was struck and killed by a drunk driver in March. I'm dealing with
Ooh.
it. My ex is dealing with it. My wife has been nothing but my rock in this. She is holding me up. I was dealing with the funeral arrangements and everything when my ex came to talk to me about his money. She knew he had a scholarship and was just going to use the money for living expenses in an emergency fund. I said I was going to do what I always said I would. I was going to Europe to drink beer. She asked to have it for her stepson. I thought about it and said no. Her husband is a decent enough person, but he made it clear that he wasn't responsible for any expenses for my son. Beyond food and shelter and stuff, obviously. Like I said, he is decent. I said I was not going to do that. I was going to drink beer in my son's honor. She says I'm wasting thousands, and I guess I am. I have to give back the government portion of the fund, but I don't care. My ex thinks I'm being stupid and irresponsible, wasting my son's money like this. I don't care. My son would laugh his ass off if he knew I actually did it. Am I the asshole?
No, I don't think
No.
so. Especially if he's doing it in his honor for the sake of it. No.
Not the asshole there.
I would agree, and so would the community, not the asshole.
That is good.
Especially since it seems to be a mutual thing where it's like both of the dads are doing like the same thing monetary wise, so it's like they're not
Yeah.
paying for each other's sons past like the bare necessities. And everybody just seems to be like, sorry if you're lost, 1000% agree type deal. Am I the asshole for giving my mother in law a fake copy of my house key and exposing her on Christmas dinner?
Ooh.
Ooh.
I want to preface this by saying that I, 34 female, married my husband, 37 male, ago. His mom is snoopy and annoying as fuck. She can't help it, that is just how she is, as my dear in laws say. My husband and I purchased recently. My mother in law kept pushing to get an emergency key. She promised that she would only use it in an emergency, but given the fact that she had an emergency key to her apartment and walked in on us being intimate twice,
Oh.
but my husband didn't think it was a big deal, I just couldn't
What?
trust her, so I just sent her a fake key. And she had a smug look on her face after I hand delivered it to her. Days gone by, and on Christmas dinner, mother-in-law angrily called me out on the fact I gave her a fake copy of the house key. She shamed me for doing this in front of everyone, but in my defense, I asked her how she found out. And she said, couple days ago, when she came over at 4 while we were both out, I reminded her, didn't you promise you wouldn't use it unless there's an emergency? So you tried to get in when there was no emergency and you broke the promise you made to us. The others in the family started staring and some even laughed at her for the face she made. She suddenly got up from her seat and rushed into the kitchen. A huge meltdown so loud the next door neighbors must have heard. Literally, I've never heard a 60-plus-year-old woman throw a tantrum like that.
She's 60?
60 plus.
Oh my god.
Needless to
Old
say, dinner went awkward and my husband and his sister were giving me looks. My husband went off on me in the car and said I manipulated and humiliated in order to expose his mom, and said he wouldn't have let me get away with it had he known. We had an argument and he is demanding I apologize for my childish behavior and for ruining
Get a
Christmas dinner for the whole family.
Get a
Am I
divorce.
the asshole?
Get a divorce. Get a divorce.
Get a
Not-
divorce.
Not the
Get
asshole.
in the water. Like, no, she's not the asshole. Especially if this woman has been getting into her house unknowingly.
And there was
especially
also
walking in is like
Yeah,
during their time.
that's
like,
where I was like, oh my god, really?
this woman has a
Like
problem.
she would have never gotten a key from me.
Oh, son and mother. Oh my god, I would throw him out the window.
Yeah, I mean, they seem to only have been married for a year. It doesn't specify they were together before that, but
Yeah. That's
Jesus.
no. Yeah, she is definitely not the asshole.
Definitely
Especially
not
if
the
it's her.
asshole. The community agrees as well, not the asshole. And situation where I think it's real. A lot
Oh,
of
yeah.
these, I tried to choose ones I didn't think were like blatantly fake,
Right.
but anything on the internet can, a bit of side assault, some skepticism.
Even if it was kind of fake, it's could still happen. People are gonna still be assholes.
Yeah.
Like
Oh yeah.
that's just human nature at this point.
This one I remember really liking when I read it. Am I the asshole for replacing myself with my mother at my in-laws' Christmas Eve party to see if anyone noticed?
This is actually kind of funny.
I am 31 and have a twin brother. For a while, I've told my wife that none of her family members notice me or care about anything I do on Christmas Eve, but they insist on me attending. She told me that's true. They genuinely like me and enjoy talking to me. But I know that the only times that they've ever included me, I had to basically insert myself into conversations, and it feels awkward natural.
Yeah.
So I had a wager with my wife. Bring my twin brother Steve instead of me, and see if anyone notices. I purposefully did not receive on anything. He went in completely clueless. He knew why we were doing it, and he was game. I gave him $20.
That's so funny.
As I suspected, Steve confirmed that he wasn't approached all night. Nobody could tell he wasn't me, and he admitted he even felt excluded, and you can imagine how I felt.
Oh.
So this morning on Christmas, I invited Steve to join. Normally he's with my mom and dad every year, as he's not married or in a relationship. I knew about him obviously, but didn't know about the switcheroo. That was when I revealed that last night I was Steve and expressed disappointment that nobody noticed. Nobody talks to me. My wife drew the line here. She was hoping we would keep this between the two of us as a funny prank, but how can I expect her family to see what jerk if I don't expose it? For what it's worth, Steve was fine. Am I the asshole?
No. I'm gonna say
Yeah, not the asshole.
no.
I found this fantastic. Like, this is a genius plan I've always wanted to do, but
Yeah.
like
You don't have an identical
Yeah.
twin.
I don't. People say Sean and I are like twins, but we're really not.
We're not that similar looking.
Like, we cannot get away with a fucking switcheroo.
Oh, for sure not.
I feel like this first was like a prank, and then it kind of turned into something, actually serious and
Yeah.
actually needed to be pointed out. So I feel like they did it in such a good way too. Like no drama, no fighting anybody, just a simple little prank, and everybody, realized, and they're kind of ashamed of it.
Yeah, it seems like the most harmless way to do something like this, and
Get a kick out of it.
Yep.
My wife was still not happy.
Damn.
What would you say, Sean? Like, still, not the asshole?
Yeah, not the asshole.
I'd
But I
be
thought I said
surprised to hear that
No.
everybody sucks.
Oh my god.
Apparently, according to the community, everybody fucking sucks.
The community's wrong.
Yeah,
He is wrong.
I don't agree with this at all.
Because I'm assuming this is the wife's family, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. Yeah, they're wrong.
If it were his own family, I think they'd see through it.
Yeah.
And
But
people are just saying
especially
that he should have just kept it between him and his wife, and I'm like, what would
That's
be the point
bullshit.
in that anyway?
yeah, I'm doing this not to like have fun, but like to prove a point, kind
Yeah.
of. To make you see, your family's a piece of shit.
Will I be the asshole if
Ooh,
I ask my
Oh.
pregnant wife to move out because her best friend decided to test my loyalty?
ooh.
Oh. All right.
My wife is
Uh,
pregnant with our daughter. Initially, we are really happy, but then she starts acting like a nut job. She gets
Oh.
huh?
angry and irritated for small things, insults me when she doesn't like the food I make, starts acting insecure and losing attraction for her. For example, she wanted to eat chicken sandwiches for dinner last week. Well, I made chicken sandwiches. So she eats all the sandwiches and told me that they tasted like shit. I wasn't
Oh.
pissed because she left me nothing, but if she didn't like them, why did she have to eat everything? Okay, fine. She does this every time. Eats everything I make and calls it shit. I don't argue with her because I work more than 80 hours a week. I really want to
Damn.
have some peace when I'm home. So, yesterday, a random girl starts flirting with me after the gym and asked if I wanted to meet up with her for drinks. I rejected her and told her that I was married. And when I got home, my wife started to hug me and apologize, and when I asked her what happened, she told me that her best friend had to test for my loyalty. So they asked a
hmm.
mutual friend to
Mm.
flirt with me and asked me out, and I passed. Yay! I'm really pissed. I'm done with her antics. Will I be the asshole if I ask her to move out?
This is a hard question.
Maybe?
Maybe. I
Kind of?
don't.
The edit to it is I don't live in the USA. Please don't discuss legalities based on the laws there.
Oh. Oh.
Uh,
All right.
telling your pregnant wife or whatever to move out?
Bit extreme, ain't it?
A
It's
little bit.
it is extreme. Especially I don't know. I feel like she could have at least, brought the discussion up with him instead of using her best friend, but I can also get, why she wanted to do it.
It was a very theatrical way of testing if your husband would stay loyal to you, but
Yeah.
also like
Especially in the way she
she
acts towards
did.
him.
Because the way it seems to have happened was they came based on the context of the post. They basically like talked to each other, planned the test, and then she started acting crazy in order to like prep him for it.
Oh,
Oh.
okay, that's what
Well,
I was
Like
getting
that's why
confused.
at the end it's like she like apologized and everything.
but he said it happens every time that he cooked,
Yes, during
right?
this period.
Oh,
Ah,
okay, so it
gotcha.
was just during this period of time. Okay. I feel like it shouldn't result in her moving out. I feel like they just need like a talk. Like
I would agree.
Stern talking to.
especially, that's your wife. And
Hmm.
cuz, she was kind of worried. She was probably kind of afraid to bring it up. Or might not, Maybe she wanted to go through this whole fucking thing for some fucking reason.
Clearly, because she did
But
it.
yeah, but it's just she's pregnant. She's your wife. She was concerned. She probably did it in probably the worst way to do it. I wouldn't kick her out of the house. I
Yeah,
would
kicking her out
probably
would definitely make you the asshole here, I'd say.
yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like it would be like you would need a like maybe couples therapy.
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, for sure.
Like holy fuck. And the community would agree this would be just a full-on straight you are an asshole.
Yeah. Or you would be
You would be,
if
You
yeah.
you
would be.
yeah.
Am I the asshole for hiding embarrassing notes in my house as a joke because I know my fiance's mom snoops? I bought a house 7 years ago and I met my fiance, Al, 4 years ago. This year he moved in. We're talking about making it a home for both of us. But as of now, he hasn't moved much stuff in. Right now, 95% of the stuff and furniture in the house is mine. When his mom comes over, she's kind of a snoop. He was used to that, but when she comes to our house, it's so uncomfortable because she's just going through my shit.
Yeah.
When I am bothered, she's like, I was just helping with chores, etc. He says I should just let her because she has a lot of nervous energy.
Mm.
Mm.
One thing she snooped on was actually embarrassing. In my home office, I had a little affirmation post it note on my monitor saying, I am smart, I am skilled, I am deserving of great things. It was a silly
Aw.
thing my therapist recommended to get me in a confident mindset before an interview. Anyway, she made a comment about my ego, but as a joke, I decided to do it again. I had my best friend over and we got wine drunk and wrote a bunch of affirmations to hide.
Oh.
Somewhere in the medicine cabinet, my teeth will regrow. I am shark like and powerful. The kitchen drawers. I know
God.
when to spoon, but I
Uh,
also know when to fork. I am sexy and self assured. The work desk. I will not just fuck my way to the top of the company, I will fuck my way to the top of the world. The walk in closet. I am beautiful with clothes and without, especially without. My boobs are legendary. There were a bunch more, and my friend and I had a hilarious time writing them. Next time my mother in law came over, she saw a few. She didn't acknowledge them to me, even though she definitely started acting a little weird about me. I went to run some errands, and when I was out, she confronted Al about the notes and was trying to tell him that I seemed unstable, egotistical, and moving in was a
Oh.
bad idea.
Oh, damn.
She showed him the notes, and he didn't really know what to make of it. He asked me, and I said they were just some silly private notes to boost my self confidence and make myself laugh. How had she gotten them? Had she been going through my things? He said she was just tidying and saw them, and they were real weird. I was like, have you met me? You should know how weird I am. Anyway, if you don't want your mom seeing my weird shit, you've got to stop letting her go through my shit. He asked if I left them on purpose to annoy her, and I admitted that was kind of the joke. But I also have other weird or private shit, so what I said about her needing to stop snooping if she didn't want to find weird crap was still for real. He said I was making stuff hard for him. His mom was really protective and adjusting to him moving in with a girlfriend for the first time, and I was agitating her on purpose and making her think I wouldn't be a good partner when he wanted her to have the opposite impression of me. Am I the asshole for the note prank?
I'm gonna say no.
it's just funny, so no.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like in the end, it's a
absolutely not.
lesson, to be honest.
I'd say you would get banned from my fucking house
Yeah,
if you were just
especially
like
if
going through my room and all my things. Like, dude, you no, you don't do that. You don't do that. You just don't. Especially if you're told off about it.
that and she owns the house. She bought
Yes,
the house.
bought the house
That's her house.
7 years ago.
That's her house.
Damn.
Met her fiance 4. So she's had the house for 3 years without anybody with her.
Yeah.
And he only moved in like the most recent year. So I'd say the prank was honestly hilarious,
Oh yeah.
very well thought out,
Yeah.
even if you were drunk out of your fucking mind.
That's like the best.
And yeah, you need to hang out with your friends more because they sound great.
Yeah. Especially, if she didn't explain that it was a joke and it was a prank, and she just deliberately did do it just to be mean, I feel like she would have been the asshole.
Yeah, but she
But
was quite honest about it.
yeah, she was quite honest about
Well, there seems to be a theme going on here.
it.
Am I the asshole for banning my mother-in-law from the house?
What is up with mothers? What the fuck?
Mothers-in-law, so specifically the
Yeah.
mothers of their spouses. So holy shit. All right. I, male 39, lost my late wife 6 years ago. I have a 16-year-old son, Daniel, and recently got engaged to my fiance of 2 years. Her mom and I aren't on good terms because of how she behaves. She's a controlling, self-centered, Dolly Parton wannabe.
Oh.
I learned to ignore her crap, but she's been ignoring Daniel and criticizing his personality regularly. He's a private kid and still hasn't gotten used to the new family dynamic, but he's in therapy and is doing fine. She keeps diagnosing him left and right, calling him antisocial, autistic, and other crap. Fact is, Daniel is a shy, well mannered kid, but people confuse that with being antisocial. Mother-in-law tried several times to force Daniel to open up by embarrassing him with personal questions on family dinners and test his personality type.
Nope, 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 nope.
I've realized the effect her behavior had on Daniel, so I gave him the choice to no longer be in the same room / house as mother-in-law, and he appreciated this a lot. Mother-in-law didn't like that Daniel kept his distance and no longer visits, and kept bitching about how spoiled he'll become for her daughter to deal with. I told her to
No.
stop bringing it up, but she cried, "I'm just doing this for Danny." Last week, she visited unexpectedly, wanting to say hi to Daniel. After Daniel greeted her, he went into the bathroom and she went into the living room with my fiance. I was in my bedroom when Daniel came and said his journal was gone. We looked for it, but didn't find it. I asked my fiance, who was alone in the kitchen, but didn't see it. I paused for a second to ask where mother-in-law was. My fiance said in the living room, but I saw her coming down the stairs. I asked where she was. She said the bathroom. I saw her purse in hand, so I bluntly asked if she took Daniel's journal. She looked offended and called for my fiance when I insisted to see her inside her purse. She wanted to leave, but I didn't let her. Fiance told me to stop it, but I insisted, and the journal was there. Mother-in-law tried to explain this was her only chance to get to know Daniel better because she cares about him.
Mm-hmm.
I blew up at her and berated her for stealing from my son and told her she's banned from my house for the stunt she pulled. She argued with me, then left. My fiance apologized for her, but said banning her from the house was over the top. It backlashed, and father-in-law argued and hoped his daughter realizes how fucking abusive I am, and called off the wedding for refusing to apologize to mother-in-law. Fiance said her family won't come to the wedding till I reconcile with her mom and cancel the ban, but I won't let my son be disrespected in his own house, and asked my fiance to understand. I'm refusing to reconcile, but I'm aware this could ruin my relationship with all my in-laws, not just mother-in-law. My fiance thinks I'm being selfish to cause drama. Am I the asshole?
No.
Not the asshole.
No. No. I
Not
want to
Not
strangle these
at
people.
fucking all.
I want to strangle these people so bad.
Fuck your fiance, fuck her entire family. Cause holy shit. And the community agrees, not the asshole.
Yeah.
Thank fuck.
I also like how the father-in-law came out of nowhere and it's like argued and hoped his daughter realizes how fucking abusive I am.
Yeah.
Like, holy shit, man. Like, you
I
people are insane. Honestly, you fucking dodged a bullet.
just feel bad for the kid. You know,
Yeah.
being in that situation.
Leave
I've been
Daniel
in that.
alone, damn it.
Leave him alone.
Leave Danny.
Protect him
Danny
at all
alone.
costs.
You also don't steal anybody's journal or diary. That's like,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah, and you don't embarrass them out of like, especially because we probably been in that situation before. Being in
yeah.
an embarrassing situation, being put on the spot, just so you can just make drag you out of a situation. I'm like, don't do that.
It's a constant, like, since we are very much like gamer kids, we stayed in our rooms a lot, that, and there was a lot of like family tension. So whenever we did come outside, there was a whole lot of like prying questions or like going
Yeah.
out of the way to make you feel uncomfortable, which makes zero sense. Because if every time I leave my fucking room it's uncomfortable, guess what? I'm gonna be less likely to come out of my fucking room.
Yeah.
But yeah, there you go. There's Am I the Asshole? I hope Daniel has an okay life. And
Me too.
I hope he's doing great. I hope he has like a rich job. He has a wife and kids, like 5-story apartment. Like
retires at 25, like
yeah.
after dealing with some shit like that, holy fuck.
God.
Yeah.
Also, I would love to know where those fucking beers came from. Like, what monks are making beers and says you can only buy this once.
Yeah.
Once
What the
Like,
no
fuck?
more.
I hate beer, but I'm curious.
Mm.
This is also like like, I've seen like random posts like scrolling through like social media about Am I the Asshole, but I've never actually like sat down and like read through them before. And
Yeah.
overall, this I could see why this fucking page has 22 million followers. How'd you guys feel about this endeavor? I don't know how to word
I
it.
I knew people were assholes, but goddamn, there are just bigger assholes than the ones that I know currently.
There's some crazy motherfuckers.
There's some
Some
crazy
crazy
motherfuckers.
people.
There's some crazy mothers.
Ah,
In-law mothers,
It's
to
like,
be exact.
why? There's
like the
because
main
also
one.
scrolling through this, a lot of them have to do with in-laws, and majority of those are the mothers. It's like, holy shit.
That's why you gotta be careful with the people that you pick to be your fiance.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
Get to know their
you
family.
have to meet and really know their family before you're like, oh yeah, let's fucking get married. Because
Yeah.
otherwise, holy shit, it's just gonna be a bad experience all around.
You're gonna end up
Oh,
with
yeah.
like one of these posts.
Yeah. Well, thank you for joining us. This was, I'd say, a pretty entertaining week.
It was fun regardless, I think.
Oh yeah, I had a great time, and
Me too.
an actual more audio experience. So if you want to like listen to this in your car or something, you don't have to worry about wrecking.
Yeah.
I'd say we all had a great time, and I hope you have a great weekend. Bye
Bye.
bye.
Bye bye.